Hello everyone and welcome back to Fractal 101. My name is Alex. Thank you so much for watching. What we're dealing with now that we have our layout set up, we're going to be choosing our amp and cab models that we can use throughout our brand new preset. Let's dive right in. So first up, we're going to deal with our amp. This is where the holy grail of tone comes from in the Fractal system for 95% of all the presets you'll make. So it's really good to get familiar with this. So we can select our type here. As you can see, even on the FM3, there's well over 300 options we have. On the Axe FX3 and the FM9, even more options, north of 400. And a lot of unfamiliar names in here, Brit and Jumped Bass Guy and Deluxe Tweed and Dirty Shirley's and all of this. How do we get through and figure out what amps we're used to hearing in the real world? Well, there's a great, indispensable tool at our disposal with the Fractal Wiki. You can check that out at the link on the screen, or the link is posted in the description of this video. This is an indispensable tool. I am quick referencing this on a weekly basis, and they have all of the amp models, cab models, and you can search for your favorite amp. It'll show you Cliff's nickname, and you can find it quickly within your product. Another thing you'll start to realize is that a lot of these names are little nicknames for things in the real world. So we'll jump through a few examples here. Brit or Plexi is typically a Marshall. We have our Class A 30 watt. That's our AC 30 tone. We have Dizzy, Diesels. Friedman's or Friedman's. High Power is a high watt. We have Recto or USA, that's our Mesa Boogie type stuff. And then for the Fenders, we don't really have any prefix attached to it. We just have the amp model types, such as the Vibrato Lux or the Vibrato Verb or the Double Verb. Or what we're going to be using in our video, the 59 Bass Guy Bright. This is based on a 1959 Bassman in the Bright channel. We normally would start on our tone page, and it'll sound like this. Screaming loud, distorted, woofy. It's a lot, right? Doesn't seem like the Bassman we have in our head, but if you go to the ideal page, you'll see that the master volume on this amp is turned all the way up. Double click that. It'll typically reset to a nice neutral setting, such as 5, and we'll get this. Already super usable. We've now selected our amp. You can go through and select the EQ that you like. You can put an input boost on there and drive the front of the amp, distorting the clean things or giving a little boost to those distorted leads. And this is a great pedal platform in general, this amp. Works great. Now we have our first amp set up, and we're going to now pair that with a cab. The cab block will default to a 1x4 Pig 57, a 1 4-inch speaker, which is a Pig, and a 57 mic on that. If we go to the picker here, you see there are a lot of options. Thousands, literally thousands of options, legacy cabs, user cabs that you can upload your own IRs. And how do you choose, right? How do you get to know these things? Really great advice that I received when I first started was to just pair these things with the amps you're using just to start out, just so you can get a feel for this. So we're using a Bassman, which is known as a Bass Guy. Type in bass in the search bar. Everything with bass pops up. Now this is great. You can select and trial these different cabs and see what you like. We see the size of the speaker and the number of speakers. On the left, the name, typically the mic that's being used, and if there's more than one iteration of that, you'll see ABC, reverse, reverb, tweeter, all these different things, and oftentimes on a suffix there will be things like ML. Different companies that will make their own IRs and put them into the Fractal system. So for our purposes, we're going to choose a 4x10 Bassman with a 57 on it. Very, very common, and that sounds like this. We can compare that to the Pig from before. Certainly shapes the tone quite a bit. In our align feature, we can see how different these look. So this first one, the blue, is our Bassman, and the red line is the Pig. You can see the bass response in that initial transients is a little different, a little offset, and it smooths out quite a bit with the Bassman, whereas the 1x4 Pig is rather erratic. You can blend those in. You can change the alignment to your liking. You can create comb filtering, phasing, all of that fun stuff in here if you're using multiple IRs. Well, that's it for our amp and cab segment. Now you know how to select amps and cabs, and as I hadn't mentioned previously, you can choose up to 4 channels per block on any block. So we could use a Mesa Boogie 2C+ on one channel, a Ruby Rocket. You could have a Friedman BEC 45, and then as you switch scenes or amp channels, you can have different tones in place. And the same goes for cabs. That does it for this video. Stay tuned for more on the Fractal 101 playlist, and in the next video we will dive into reverbs. Thank you for watching. We'll see you all next time.